LasVegasDiscount.net's the best there is. Save up to 50% on your next Vegas trip. And travel, rental, shows, and tours. Find the deals you're looking for. LasVegasDiscount.net. LasVegasDiscount.net. If you're going to Vegas for deals that are the best, visit LasVegasDiscount.net.
Are you a real estate agent, realtor, investor, or are you in the real estate business and you need new listings and deals? We have a solution for you, and that solution has guaranteed results. How much would you pay to get face-to-face with a homeowner that wants to sell their home? What if you also got their email address and daytime phone number? And what if this homeowner also scheduled you to come to their door at a set time to meet with you? Sound too good to be true? It isn't. And it is 100% guaranteed for you to meet face-to-face with a real homeowner who really needs to sell their home. Not only will you get this remarkable contact system and its 100% guarantee, at no additional charge, you will get weekly coaching, documents, and training on how to get that homeowner and convert them into a new listing. When you purchase, you'll also get a one-on-one walkthrough so that you can start using the system today. Visit www.thelistingmonster.com. That's www.thelistingmonster.com. Or call Diana Ortiz at 213-706-0040. Stop wasting time the old way. Use a monster and get actual results today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to your episode of Distressed Property Marketing and Coaching, specifically with the Monster Marketing System. I am joined by my other coach, friend, and cohort, David Bartels, the #1 short sale negotiator in the United States. How are you today, David?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you.
For everybody listening,
November.
We're getting closer. The countdown is on. Are you excited?
It's busy. Yeah, it's good.
That's good. So David runs a company called Home Loan Advocates. They are the largest short sale negotiation company on the planet. Visit them at homeloanadvocates.com. David, phone number?
805-413-8000, 805-413-8000.
We're going to start right off with a question from one of our coaching students who's here live on the call. As always, our coaching call students get private time with us at the end of the call. First part of this is a widely broadcasted podcast, and I want to say thank you to everybody. If you do have a short sale or you need help and you contact David, please mention this podcast so we can see what the reach of this thing looks like. With that said, first question from Yvette Lots. She sells lots. The angles on that last name. Oh my gosh. I'm always a branding guy, David. It'll never leave me. What are your thoughts on purple bricks and online companies getting into the real estate business? And I was in the middle of a diatribe when David joined us and we hit the record button. But what I was saying was I vividly remember all the travel companies saying there is no way that Expedia and companies like that were going to be able to come in and replace literally hundreds of thousands of real estate agents. That was a function people like travel agents, right? That's never going to happen. People like the experience. They want to go in. They want to hear the stories. They want a contact person. Well, that worked out well. That worked out well.
Well, just look at Charles Schwab and Fidelity. Sure. I mean, even Charles Schwab right now is doing these full service, ads and for $4.95. So, I might have a different perspective than other people because I actually own a Help You Sell franchise, which is a set fee company. Similar, I guess, to what Purple Bricks is doing. And I think that a lot of people incorrectly categorize us as a discounter. Even though that may technically be correct, but the way that we look at it is a little bit differently, and this is all leading up to answering the question, is that when all I did was figure out what it really costs to sell a house and added a fair profit. And and I struggled with the idea, and maybe one of the things that if you've got two sellers, one's got a $300,000 house and one's got a $600,000 house, and it takes the same amount of time, money, and effort to sell both houses, shouldn't the fee to sell both houses be the same? Yeah. And if you think the answer to that question is yes, and I obviously do, then anything that we do above that fee is simply taking advantage of the market. So when I see people like Purple Brooks, and Zillow is not in the real estate business. Zillow is not getting in the real estate business beyond advertising for real estate agents and ancillary income opportunities. We'll talk about that, here in a second.
We will.
But when you look at companies like Help You Sell and Purple Bricks is the low fee leader in the marketplace right now. So they're charging in Southern California. I don't know if it's different in other places, but in Southern California, they're charging $3,600. That's already been raised from $3,200 to $3,600. The listing agent gets $1,000 of that money. The buyer and the seller is asked to do more of the work. The buyer actually submits their offer on some kind of portal, and then the seller jumps in there and actually starts the negotiating, which I think is a major concern, letting a seller and buyer negotiate directly without the agents involved in guidance and counsel and structure even. The other thing but Purple Bricks is selling some houses, but they've spent about $20 million in our market. The rate of advertising has slowed down, and then it's picked up again. And then I see reports where their stock is hitting is well below what the peak was, and there's major concern about the viability of what they're doing in the United States. And there's two more points I want to make about Purple Bricks. And I'm not suggesting that they can't do it. I'm not suggesting their agents aren't good. I'm not suggesting that they're not selling houses. What I'm suggesting is when I talk about the set fee concept that we have, I started by figuring out what it really costs to sell a house and then adding a fair profit. And I don't think that's in order to make a profit at $3,600 where you're giving $1,000 of that to the agent, and then you've got obviously other support costs that are associated with that, including advertising. You've got to sell a lot of houses, and they're not even making a dent in the investment that they've made to be able to do that. And you would think that $20 million would demand some sort of market dominance, and that's not the case either. Now, what their advertising does do is creates a lot of questions about what Purple Bricks does. Now, one of the things that they do to offset this is that they charge the fee whether or not the house sells or not. There's some people say that they charge it up front, but my understanding is at the end of a 6-month listing agreement, and that's all they do is 6-month listing agreements. At the end of the 6-month listing agreement, you have to pay the $3,600 whether or not your house has sold or not. And so when a Purple Bricks agent goes out and gives a presentation, the crowd that they're attracting is the crowd that is only interested in savings, places little value on the real estate agent's involvement, thinks that the house is going to sell itself simply by putting it in the multiple listing service, and that it will sell at any price. And because Purple Bricks is getting paid whether or not the house sells or not, they are letting the seller dictate what the list price should be. And what I've observed is a very high percentage of Purple Bricks listings sitting on the market and expiring unsold. Now,
we lost David. There you are.
These low set fee companies like Purple Bricks and even Help You Sell, which I'm a representative of, is that when I first started with Help You Sell, I went out and only thing I had in my toolbox was savings. So I would talk about savings, and I could not get a listing to save my life. It wasn't until I realized that people were interested in savings, and they would talk to us because of the savings. But at the end of the day, they were going to hire us because we demonstrated a competence that would result in them selling their house for the highest.
We lost
and what their mind was the highest net. And this thinking is absolute, because if you look at the market share, the 5-6% agents still control 98.5 of the market. I mean, I'm more expensive than Redfin. I'm more expensive than Purple Bricks. I'm more expensive than all the 1% people in the marketplace. I'm more expensive than Assist to Sell. I understand that I'm the highest price help you sell guy in the country, yet the market is down 7% and my business is up 28%. But that's not because we're charging the least amount of money. It's because we're providing the most value and we've got data to support our results. Okay, I'm going to take a breath there and then I'll answer Zillow.
That's awesome. Which leads us to
that might be more comprehensive than what people were looking for, but I've got a very interesting, perch from which to watch the Purple Bricks of the world, given the similarities in our pricing.
My perspective is that I watch the behaviors of real estate agents, so my perspective is a little bit different. It was a bigger deal last summer. I think people have eased off of it a lot, David, in regards to I see how people respond to email stories on the topic. It is certainly agents are definitely at the whim and the whimsy of what the media portrays for them as their current market. I can safely say this. The next story that we're going to talk about, which is Zillow buying in another state, went out for me on Monday and had a higher response than our second story, which is the Wells Fargo thing. So let's get into the distress news of the week. That seems to be a segment of the show before we do a little Q&A. This past week, Zillow announced that they would be that it plans to begin buying and selling homes in Houston, Texas. The expansion of its Zillow offer program marks the 7th market where the option is now available. The program launched in Phoenix in April and is now available in Las Vegas, Atlanta, Denver. Zillow will expand its program to Charlotte, Raleigh, North Carolina this winter. Zillow offers homeowners to request no obligation cash offer from Zillow to buy their home. If they accept, Zillow directly buys the seller's house, prepares it for showing, and quickly lists it for sales. Agent from the Houston area will represent Zillow in the transaction. In a statement, Zillow brand president Jeremy Waxman said, Zillow offers launched just 7 months ago, and we're already seeing nearly 20,000 homeowners request an offer from Zillow to buy their home. Consumers desire a more seamless experience. Wow, that's a direct slam. Consumers desire a more seamless experience and the ability to sell their home on their own timeline, something Zillow offers can provide. We're excited to start working with Houston sellers, giving them more flexibility, and certainly in one of the greatest financial transactions of their life. Whew, lot to unpack there, David.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what this is in the iBuyer category. Okay. So you're even seeing the big franchises now are rolling out their own versions of iBuyer programs.
Yep.
Realogy has one. I guess that includes Coldwell Banker. You've got Open Door. You've got Zillow now. Your Redfin is doing one. A lot of groups are doing it. You're going to see a lot of these groups that are out there and doing that. And basically they're just investors. For those people who just want to sell, they want to, it's not really any difference than when you go to buy a new car and you have you don't want 2 cars. You can either go trade it in at the dealership for wholesale, okay, or you can put a for sale sign and advertise it on Craigslist and park it on the corner and looking to find, somebody that'll pay you, $1,000 or $1,500 more for it. So therein lies the difference between retail and wholesale, and what real estate agents do, and I know we have some investors on here too, but what real estate agents' job is to do is to figure out what the high end of market value is and help that seller